Hey, thank you once again for supporting my YouTube videos. How is everybody doing today? Listen, today I just wanted to talk about a topic on how we should be monitoring what our children are watching on TV and the social media, the internet, the iPhone, iPads. We should really monitor what our children are intaking in their spirits and in their minds and into their eye gates because it does have an effect on them. And America's so perverted. You know how I feel about America just being perverted, and sex sells everything. I mean, they don't have any regards for commercials on television nowadays, for crying out loud. So let alone the internet, which is, I would say, probably 5 times worse than TV, much, much more, because the internet is readily available, to show all kind of wrongful type of images. And so you have to really monitor your children and be careful about what it is they have access to. Okay. So the first example I wanted to give you was, let's say that you and everybody in your family, think about everybody that's in your family, whether it's small, medium, or large, and think about your small children, or think about your children, or if you don't have any children, please just think if you had children. Please think about it. And so those children are sitting there. Let's say one of them is about 3.5. Let's say the other one is about 5, and the other one is 9. 3, 5, and 9. Just put it like that. And everybody's sitting there watching a nice family movie, something that everybody's able to look at. There's no sexual contents in this movie. It's a pretty cool movie. It's family night. You guys got the popcorn, and you got your little drinks and things like that. And, of course, commercials are going to come on because it's just on television. And all of a sudden, you get a KY jelly commercial coming on. And on the KY jelly commercial, there's a man and there's a woman, and they're romping around in the bed, and the camera's showing them little different parts, and just flashing on them, and while they're making little sounds, and then they're talking about their product, KY jelly. Ridiculous. I mean, totally ridiculous. And this came on a regular channel. This is why I'm giving you this example, because the KY jelly commercial just came on a regular channel during the daytime, like it was no big deal. And showing the man and the woman romping around in the bed, and just like little flashes at him, And I think one of the other commercials for KY, if I'm not mistaken, actually had them making some noises. So if you are not understanding what KY jelly is, then you probably don't need to be having relations. You probably haven't had relations. Advertising KY jelly on a regular TV station during regular days of the week and on the weekends, they don't need to do it. Or they need to find another way to run their ad in order for them to sell their product. It just doesn't make any sense. It's very personal, and they should understand that people have children, and that even that image is too much. Some of you are probably saying, oh, come on, lady, you're going. No, I am not going too far. America is perverted, and sex sells on everything. And another example is, I was watching television, and my favorite store came on, Macy's, and they weren't just saying one-day sale. No. This time, Heidi Klum was going across the screen in her bra, panties, and heels. And some heels. And I'm thinking, okay, is this, a lingerie ad? And I mean, even if it is, do you have to go across the television in your bra, panties, and heels, Heidi? I mean, really? Don't you have children? I mean, and for the men, I'm sure they just totally enjoyed this, But here's my problem with it. I'm not a hater. She's a beautiful woman. My problem with it is just this right here. Honey, we don't need you to put on just your bra and your panties and your heel to promote Macy's. You're popular. You promote something either way it goes. You don't have to put on just your bra and your panties and prance across the screen. What if somebody's 6-year-old son was looking at that? What if that commercial comes on while he's sitting there looking at cartoons, or he's sitting there looking at some type of show that's rated G? Because it was on a regular network. There was no warning that this woman was going to come across the screen in her bra, panties, and heels. So to me, that's exuding to sex. That's revealing sexual undertones. And so now the little boy's eyes is looking at this woman go across the screen, And he gets inquisitive, whether he asks you about it or not. That image is in his mind and is seeping in his spirit. That's not going overboard. When children see images, that seeps in their mind and it makes them inquire of things, if you will. You see, then you wonder why later you get these questions, and so you got to be careful about the contents that you're letting your children watch, because guess what? You are their authority figure. You are the person that's their role model. You are the one that they look up to. You are the first person that they see, whether you know it or not, whether you agree or not, they see you. So if you're over in the corner smoking a cigarette and you're walking around the house scantily cladded and you're using profanity every other word, and then you have the nerve to be telling your children, do as I say and not as you see, you are wrong. And I'm saying that you are wrong because that child is looking to you for a role model, and you're telling the child, I'm your role model, but you can't do what I do. So therefore, that child becomes inquisitive in their spirit. And that image lasts with them. And it could even affect them so to the point to where they duplicate it. Do you really want to be that kind of role model for your child? So we are the role model for our children, and it is up to us as adults to take that control and to monitor them and to protect them from perversion out in the world, because the enemy is ready to give your child perversion. And Lord knows if they have access to a computer, you need to be able to monitor how far they can go on the computer. You need to look at the history of your child's computer, because you never know. If you are a parent that is working, I understand that you have to make the ends meet. Stay on the phone with your child during the break times. When you come home, check that internet. Put the locks on the TV channels and sit down with your child and spend some quality time. Find the time to spend with your child, because their interest will be taken afar off by the enemy, honey. The enemy will take your child's interest away from you, who don't have time to spend with your child, and the enemy will give your child something to do and to think about. Think about what I'm saying, and it makes perfect sense. Only somebody that don't got all their screws tightened up here would not understand what I'm saying. It's the God's honest truth. You are their first role model, so they're going to look at you. And it's very imperative that you pay attention to your children. And when you and your husband want to spend some adult time together, and you got to put the kids to bed, read them a story and put them to bed and make sure they're asleep. Don't just send them to their room and say, mommy and daddy don't got time right now. Please read them a story. Talk to them. Make sure they are asleep. Spend that time with them. Don't just kick them out the room and don't tell them why. Kick them out the room and say, all right, buddies, it's time for mommy and daddy to have mommy and daddy time. And I'm going to read you a story, and keep it sweet and simple like that. Don't just send them to the room and they're not asleep. And then all of a sudden they start turning channels. You can tell I'm dating myself talking about turning channels. Well, turning channels, And then they find something on TV that's inappropriate while you are having your adult time with your husband, with your wife. It's inappropriate. We have to take better responsibility for our children, because the enemy is laying and waiting for your children. And you want the very best that you can have for your child. So give your child the very best and monitor everything they watch and spend that quality time with them, that the Lord has given us stewardship over them. He trusts you with that child. He trusts you with your child. Not for you to abuse them by neglecting them. Not for you to abuse them by not protecting them. So that's some very imperative and important things that we need to do with our children. And that's all I wanted to touch bases on today. That was kind of in my spirit, and just thinking about it and thinking about how I see so many parents, whether they're young or even some of them that are older, they don't take responsibility for their children. They let their children listen to whatever music they listen to. I hear people going down the street playing music in their cars that are sexual. And I'm thinking, wow, can't you roll your windows up? If you're going to have lyrics that are talking sexually explicit. This boy pulled up to the gas station, and I'm telling you, this song was so rated XXX until I do not understand where his mind or his spirit was playing it out loud. He really just didn't care. And anybody's child at any point could have been sitting at the gas station in a car while their parents were filling up their car, and this person is being disrespectful to the whole society by playing that type of music. You're also being disrespectful, and a lot of you are not going to agree to this, but I really don't care because it's the God's honest truth, and I know the Lord is on my side with this. It is not cool when you walk around using profanity in your house, and then your children start picking up profanity like it's a normal way of life. It's a normal grammar. It's a normal way of speech. Honey, profanity does not get you into a university. Profanity will not get you a career. Profanity will not get you a job. Profanity will not get you anywhere. And so then you want to use it, and then the kids start using it. And then what do? When they go to school, you tell them don't talk that way, but that's how everybody talks at home. That's the way everybody speaks at home. You're not being a good role model. You got to stop. You got to stop. You got to teach your children to use proper grammar, because in today's society, it is imperative for them to get an education and to move forward, for them to use proper grammar and not go around speaking profanity because you spoke it, your mama spoke it. And yeah, you know, we all did it before. I have done that before. My family has done that before. But when I was a child, I thought like a child. And when I was younger, I thought more younger. But then as I got older and I grew spiritually more mature, I put those childish things away. And I'm using now the mind that the Lord has given me. It's something how he can come in and just change your whole demeanor. He is really something. And yes, he has grown me up spiritually. So I feel that it's imperative that I share this information for people to understand and to at least think about it. Think about how you talk in front of your kids. Think about what you watch in front of your kids. Think about how you dress in front of your kids. Think about the contents of the internet, what you look at in front of your kids, television in front of your kids. Think about everything you do in front of your kids, and see if it feels right or if it's right. You'll know the difference, okay? Well, anyways, thank you so much for letting me get that rant out, for me discussing that with you. And you guys have a blessed night in Jesus' name. Always, always. Peace out.